2022 did not start on a very good note for all those people who aspire to become the permanent residents of Canada in the near future. The internal IRCC memo, which came into public eye last week, actually revealed that the processing times might be very high throughout 2022. Of course, it also revealed that they might not conduct the all-program draws in the next few months. And of course, when they conduct it, then the CRS cutoff scores might be really high, above 500. Now, the key objectives of the Express Entry program, why it was actually created, was to attract the best talents from across the world so that they can contribute to the economic growth of Canada and process their applications pretty quickly in an express manner. So now, both of these objectives have been defeated. So is this the end of Express Entry system, or is it actually heading towards its end? What is the Canadian government actually doing about it? What are the possibilities that things can start getting back better soon, at least in the next few months? And also, all those people who have been waiting, now depressed with whatever has been happening, what should you do to get Canada PR in 2022? So hello friends, I am Shitanshu from Dream Abroad, and in this video we're going to talk about all of these different topics. So if you're interested, stay tuned. So of course we can clearly see that the purpose of Express Entry is being defeated here, not attracting the best talents from across the world, and of course very slow processing times. So is Express Entry heading towards its end? I would say probably not. Yes, it's a dark patch in the program, in their timelines, but certainly it's not heading towards its end, because the Canadian government is certainly doing something to improve the situation, and I will give some points in support of my answer here. So the internal IRCC memo was actually from November 24th, and since then we have seen a lot of developments that have happened in the terms of improving the application processing times, because that is the core problem that they have right now. They have a huge backlogs, huge application processing times. They don't know which application to process first. Many people have been waiting for more than 2 years now. So November 24th was the date when that memo was published. After that, in the mid of December, maybe 2-3 weeks after that, we got two developments that is on the positive side, and I want to highlight those. First of all, the mandate letter that came from Justin Trudeau to the immigration minister, it clearly highlighted that they desperately want to work on the application backlogs. Then around the same time, the Canadian budget was announced, and it had allocated $85 million to address the application backlogs, to improve the processing times. So of course, when it is known, up to the level of the Prime Minister that this is a concern, and the Finance Minister is allocating budget to it, of course, things will take time. That budget allocation will take time. Planning will take time. How they would actually improve it, everything would take its own course of time. So you might actually see those changes coming into effect maybe a few months from now, maybe March, maybe April. I don't know when, but of course it will take its own course of time to reflect. But the Canadian government is aware about these problems, and they are taking some steps as well. Also, there was an article published on CICnews.com which talked about an interview of the Canadian Immigration Minister, and he said that they are still looking for several options for the draws to be conducted for Express Entry 2022. So there might be a change in the strategy that might be coming up. And also he talked about a strategy that I want to highlight here. He talked about conducting the Express Entry draws which might be based on certain occupations. So they might be conducting some Express Entry draws where they issue invitations to people from certain occupations only. And yes, because we talked about certain changes coming into Express Entry last year, where the complete NOC structure is being changed. So this is a possibility, and of course when the immigration minister is talking about it, then we can say that yes, this is a chance. So all those people who are waiting in the Express Entry pool, even if you have a score of 470, you never know if they conduct a draw which is occupation based and your occupation is in demand in Canada according to their research, then you can definitely get an invitation maybe when they start actually conducting those draws. So while it is pretty obvious that things do not look pretty good in the near future, but you never know who gets lucky. Your occupation might get chosen to be in demand in Canada, and when they conduct these draws, you might get the invitations. Whatever it is, we'll get to know about it in the future. But of course, you have to be prepared for the worst, hope for the best. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Right? So in that case, what should you do? Okay, so now we know that things are not in good shape, but that is everything on the end of the Canadian government, IRCC, the application backlogs, all of that. And of course, you as a candidate in the express entry pool, you cannot do anything about it, right? So all those people who might be starting to give up on their Canadian dream, should you actually give up? I, of course, do not suggest you to give up on your Canadian dream. It might take time. Maybe you initially thought that you might be in Canada in 2021. You might come to Canada in 2023. But I suggest you don't give up. These are difficult times. Of course, do you remember when the pandemic just got started? Nobody knew what to do. Businesses had only one chance. Either they adapt or they perish. So most of the businesses actually adapted, and you see all those businesses and so many people also, not just businesses, they have grown in the last 2 years even with the pandemic. So of course, just like for the pandemic, you could blame that, okay, these people actually spread it, the government could not control it. Just like that, you can put the blame for this mess on IRCC, the Canadian government, or anyone else. But you have to adapt to the current situation, to overcome the situation. What can you do about it? So I talked to Mr. Kuber Kamal, who's a licensed ICCRC consultant and also a very popular name in the world of Canadian immigration because of his presence in social media. So he suggested few points. I'm going to walk you through that, but it's mainly around the, getting your PNP nominations and improving your score. So let's go through that conversation that I had with him, and then we'll talk again.
If you look at opportunities, Ontario has been looking to increase their PNP quotas. So they, at this point of time, have about 8,250 of their immigration quota. They actually issued 9,000 nominations in 2021, which was announced, I think, yesterday by their on their website. So they actually took 750 applications or 750 nominations from this year's quota and gave it to the applications from last year. They have applied to double their quota. So they had 8,250. They have asked for 16,500 for their PNP quota. Similarly, other provinces are also looking to increase their PNP quotas or nomination quotas, because provinces like Nova Scotia, provinces like New Brunswick have already put on record that they have achieved amazing numbers of population, primarily because of the PNP programs that they run. So there has been an influx of population there. It has been growing. It is helping them. So what I'm trying to say is that PNPs is going to be a big player in this year. People have to concentrate. Earlier, people were more concentrating on your express entry, but PNPs are now going to play a big role. Again, Ontario is a big player in the whole game. So if at all they get the increase in the quotas, a lot of people will be looking at that. Their general, under the general draw under the human capital priorities, where they announce, I think few days back, they gave away about 502 invitations to almost 18 different knock codes. That is a great one to keep an eye on. Tech program, again, a great one to keep an eye on. Now, Ontario is still stuck with a score of 467 as an upper cutoff, because that was the last draw that happened, 1 point less than the last draw that happened in 2020. So if there is no draw, the biggest benefit is going to happen to people who are in the brackets of 467 and less. Otherwise, in express entry, they did not have a chance. They did not have a realistic chance. So, when one door closes, another door opens. So all these people who are at 467 low, they have this great opportunity, great chance with Ontario, and will continue to have that. French, again, as an option, will continue to play a big part. Again, if you can get into the Ontario French speaker stream, which is a very popular one, again, 467 is a ploy there. But not only that, French adds express entry points, of course. French adds 10 points in Saskatchewan, up to 10 points in Saskatchewan score. French is also quite beneficial. Nova Scotia will probably look at applying or inviting people who can speak French. New Brunswick has a French speaker stream under their strategic initiative. So all these provinces are also looking at French as, bilingual francophones who they can invite. So that is something which people must always keep in mind. It's the cheapest option as a second option if you want to look at it as a backup plan. After that, study permits are definitely something, or rather study route is going to be something which will become more of a priority for a lot of people who are on the edge thinking, should I go express entry, should I go studying? So I think studying is something which a lot of people will look at. If at all you're choosing a study program, be very, very careful. Choose the right kind of program, show the right kind of funds, express the right intention, show compelling reasons that you will indeed return back, make a good application, good SOP. But also be mindful of Chinook, which is the artificial intelligence that is being used with the study permit applications. But that primarily will be something which you need to look at. But again, coming back to PNPs, also keep in mind that PNPs are always changing. There is a new program always coming out. Saskatchewan announced Hard to Find Skills Pilot. Alberta has just announced Accelerated Tech Pilot or Tech Pathway. AIPP has become a permanent program. There is a new municipal pilot which is on the edge. I'm sure they're going to be announcing it at some point of time. Newfoundland and Labrador announced a great program last year, announcing people of all ages. There was no criteria of age. IELTS levels are very, very low, and they invited about 600 people there, expecting them to do the same thing again. So you have to always keep an eye on that. New Brunswick, again, great PNP program where they invite people under this recruitment initiatives. So yeah, all these will be something which you can always keep an eye on, keep your, fingers crossed, of course, but also something to look forward to. But these would probably be the solution that you would be looking for.
Alright guys, so the message is very clear. Of course, these are not good times, but it's not like nobody is doing anything about it. The Canadian government is doing their part in improving the express entry system and clearing the backlogs. It's time you do your part. Try for each PNP. Whichever PNP you get, do not think about the province. If you're getting a PNP nomination, just grab it. And of course, try your best to improve your CRS score, because anyhow, if you improve your CRS score, whenever they conduct the express entry draws, maybe towards the end of this year, in the worst case scenario, even then you would get the invitations if your score is, let's say, 490 or 500. So thanks a lot for watching this video, guys. If you have any comment and feedback, please put them down in the